I think it's wild that I have to do this, but I guess I should start this off by saying unequivocally that we shouldn't just murder people. As a person who's been involved in mixed martial arts since I was a kid, including learning to knife fight as a child, you'd think maybe I'd be more okay with the whole violence thing, but the truth is, I've always really struggled with the idea of drawing a line somewhere, with the idea of boundaries, even against outright tyranny and oppression. And it's not just me, it's a real philosophical and ethical struggle called the paradox of tolerance. And this, I think, is why we're all having such a hard time talking about the murder of Charlie Kirk right now. Because we have the numbers when it comes to political violence in America. We don't need to listen to all the people who are saying whatever they want about it. We know where the violence is coming from. A team of researchers from 4 different universities examined court documents from 1948 to 2022. That's 74 years. And they found that the political violence in America that's affecting both parties is overwhelmingly perpetrated by people on the right. Other research from Germany and Sweden supports the idea that the increase in violent rhetoric coming from the right is increasing violent acts on the right. We're just really super trapped inside the paradox of tolerance. And it's the idea that if intolerance continues to be tolerated, then eventually society will just be dominated by intolerant people. And that's where we are right now, I think. And that's why it's so difficult for us to speak honestly about the horrible murder of Charlie Kirk. There's a weird reputation cleansing going on right now, and the media is trying to label Kirk as some paragon of open, honest dialogue and debate, but that's factually wrong. Charlie Kirk was a provocateur for the radical fringe right before it became the mainstream Republican Party. He advocated for and celebrated violence against people for being accepting and inclusive, for being women, for all the reasons that just makes no sense to exercise violence and violent rhetoric. Violence as a proposition is a reactionary force to a threat. Someone loving a person of their own sex is not a physical threat to your safety, but Charlie Kirk spun it that way. Someone pointed out that one of the craziest things about this whole attempt to paint Kirk as some kind of saint of the free exchange of ideas and honest dialogue is that at the very same time the pundits are saying these things, they can't run any of the clips of the things he's actually said because they're just so horrific and completely contradictory to the pretend picture of him they're painting. And Kirk did not debate. Debate is a real craft with rules and strategies, and it has nothing to do with what he was doing. He screeched radical sound bites and vitriol and outright shut down any possibility of genuine debate. And even if debate was his goal, that's not how human beings have uncovered the truth of the world since at least the time of ancient Greece. To be fair, probably far before that. We have data now. We don't need to yell at each other to figure out if the Earth revolves around the sun. We can just look. And in similar fashion, we have the numbers about political violence. We know where that's coming from, and we can break out of the trap inherent in the paradox of tolerance. But we need to be clear about the fact that there is the option to both not celebrate violence and also refuse to turn a completely awful person into an absolute saint after they're gone. The media has a responsibility to present complex thoughts and narratives to the American people again. This reality television style, one elementary level thought at a time, Golden Book's morality lesson bullshit is going to push more and more people into a simplistic worldview that simply is not capable of tackling the major issues of our day, and is easily swayable into a violent reactionary worldview. We are doing ourselves a massive disservice by discouraging the possibility of holding multiple truths in our citizens' heads at the very same time. Every big left-leaning social media account is out there preemptively chastising a fake celebration of Kirk's death. The media is firing people who say completely reasonable things about the kind of person that Kirk was, and in a desperate struggle to maintain a victim mindset and not trigger further backlash from the right. And yet the reason we're experiencing political violence at all is because people like Kirk spent years rolling out the red carpet for it, dishing out hate and divisiveness anywhere they could get a hold of a microphone. And the data that we have shows us this is true. So no, we absolutely should not celebrate murder, but we also shouldn't be afraid of feeling some level of relief at having one less agent of human suffering spreading the seed of societal collapse in his wake. If they don't throw me in the gulag for saying all this, then I'll see you in the next one. Or I'll see you in the gulag too. Maybe we'll all just toil away at the hard labor in the new oil fields that used to be our national parks.